Thank you very much for visiting my channel. If not difficult, like and subscribe to my channel to always be aware of events. Thank you very much for visiting my channel. If not difficult, like and subscribe to my channel to always be aware of events. Select McDonald's restaurants will reopen in Kyiv from tomorrow. The company's head of corporate communications in Ukraine confirmed, in the latest symbol of Ukrainian success in repelling the Russian invasion. 3 restaurants in the Ukrainian capital will open for delivery only from September 20, followed by several more venues in Kyiv and across the country further west 1 week later. Restaurants will then resume their typical operations in October, according to head of communications Alicia Mudgiri. With evacuation plans in place in the event that air raid sirens are triggered by an incoming threat. Meanwhile in Russia, former McDonald's restaurants have been shut down and rebranded after the American fast food giant became one of thousands of Western companies to pull out of the country amid the war in Ukraine. Mudgiri announced the restaurants on Bazarna Avenue, Gagarin Avenue and Harishka Street would be the first McDonald's to reopen in the capital from September 20, with 7 others following in short order. The newly opened restaurants will operate according to the same high standards of food quality, cleanliness and speed of service as before, the comms chief announced in a social media post.